So World Cup final is here, and it is Spain taking on Argentina. Um, of course, this prediction video could have been very different if England had held on last night. Unfortunately, we have we went out last night. As you know, I've already done a video in reaction to the game, which has already gone up. But we were playing so well. Then went 1-0 up, then decided to put 7 men behind the ball with 30 odd minutes to go. So we were our own worst enemy there, and we have threw it away. So unfortunately, we will not be there. But still going to look forward to this final. It's a great game we've got here, great matchup. The game that was never played last year between the Euro winners Spain and the Copa America winners in Argentina. So we are going to get to see this game now. This will really, it really is a clash of the best in the world. It's fair to say. Briefly though, before we do get to the final prediction, on Saturday night we've got the third place playoff, which of course England are playing in. We're playing France in that. France obviously went out to Spain. France the whole way through the tournament, very, very consistent and grew into it as well. We're convincing more and more people that they were the favourites to go all the whole way through. They convincingly won the group stage, 9 points in the group, and went through the knockout stage with it easily past Sweden, Paraguay, Morocco, no trouble there. But then well and truly met a match against Spain where they were totally outplayed in every aspect and fallen short. Against Spain again. So they're coming into this. This is not the last game. It's not the farewell game that Deschamps would have wanted. But that said, France are professional. They usually do win these types of games. I think, it's hard to properly analyse this type of game because you don't know how seriously the teams will take it. You don't know what the team selection will be. Will they have is this an opportunity maybe to rotate and have a look at other players? Will both teams just go for the best 11 and think, okay, nothing really to lose, I might as well just go for it and just see what happens here? And then you can end up with a really good game because of that. But I do feel like it's slightly favour France here, mainly because I think England will be so dejected. So if you look at the pitch, the end of the game yesterday, I just think they'll be so flat, and I'm just not sure they'll be able to get themselves up for this. And I think, I'm not too bothered about the outcome, to be honest. If England win them, it's not really going to be. The main disappointment's already happened, and whatever happens in this game, it's not going to get anywhere near to that, And it's not really like these are two teams that wanted to win the tournament. It's not really like it's a game that a lot of people predicted for the final, and I think that no one's really going to. Neither of these teams are really going to want third place, and like when you think Croatia have won third place twice in the history, and as they should, they've taken immense pride in it. It's not really the same. It was always going to be like this with 4 top seeded nations making it to the last 4. No one was going to be wanting to play in this third place playoff, but it's where we are. So I hope England win, obviously, of course. But as for a prediction, I'll be honest about the prediction. You never know what's going to happen. It's hard to say what's going to happen in this type of game. You don't know what it's going to be, what both teams are going to be like, really. But I'll just go for 2-1 to France, just to give a prediction for that, and they get third place. But onto the final now, onto the main talking point. Now, Spain and Argentina is a massive game. Historically, there's a bit of a rivalry there because I've not really seen them play much at national team level in recent years. You'd have to go back quite a way, I think, when they last met. But we never got the game we should have got between them last year either. And then, historically, there's like a real sort of, a lot of history between these two nations outside of football as well that goes back a long, long time. So, two teams very different. Two teams have both, it's fair to say, deserve to make the final in the end. I think, Spain certainly, if you look at who Spain have beaten on the way to the final, I think that's where they're really impressive. I think that's where it really is a daunting task for anybody. They've only conceded 1 goal in this tournament so far, scored in every game after the first game, won the second 2 group stage games well, then, very, very convincing against Austria, then knock out Portugal and Belgium, Belgium being the only team to score against them. Then even more impressive against France. And they just seem so efficient, they just seem so consistent. Every one of the players in the team just seems to know their job and just seems to do it really, really well. And we've seen some excellent team performances so far, and it shows you how a great team can override individual talent in a team that plays so well as a team. Obviously, Spain are very talented, but if you look at the attacking options France had, individuals that are the standout players, you think, the team that plays as well together as Spain does could always override a team of individuals. Now Argentina have got the individuals to compete with anyone though, and they're another team. I think Spain, I would say, as a national team, I think they play better together as a team than any other nation. And I think you can say the only team that comes close to that, I would say, is Argentina. I think everyone does a similar role for Argentina. I think the whole team really does fight, really does work hard. And Argentina are different to Spain in the sense they've had to really, really work hard for everything in this tournament. The group stage is convincing, 3 wins weren't really tested, but when it got out of the group stage against Cape Verde, you can see, okay, yeah, they're going to have to work for this a bit. Then much has been made of the Egypt and the Switzerland games. Should they have gone through these decisions that have been major talking points? But then, no question about the game yesterday. Nothing controversial about their win over us. Of course, we was slightly better in the first half. I thought very scrappy game in the first half, as expected though, because of the tensions between the two nations. And then, of course, in the second half we take the lead, but for some reason we stopped playing. We was at that point we was looking. This is what you do think though about, will Spain make the same stupid mistakes we made? Probably not. If they do get themselves 1-0 up, and they know how hard it is, how hard it is to get back into the game when Spain go 1-0 up. That's usually it, because they just defend so well, better than anyone. And they keep the ball so well, they move the ball so quickly, so when teams get the ball, they're too worn out to do anything with it, and they also can cash teams out on the break late on as well, as we've seen against Portugal and Belgium. So, yeah, but it's, with Argentina though, they, of course, went 1-0 down against England. By that point, England are on top. We, for some reason, stopped doing what we was doing. We sat so deep, panicked, and just tried to play like it was the final 5 minutes for the final 35 minutes, and succumbed to the pressure that we invited on ourselves in the end. And I think you have to give Argentina credit. Stallone, he made the big substitutions in the big, he made the big substitutions he made at the right times, paid off. And when the chances did come, they're clinical, and that's what I will say about Argentina. When they get the chances, they won't waste them. They will take them. Once they get momentum, they can really start creating chances, and they can become really difficult to play against. That said, they also have large periods where they suffer without the ball. What we're yet to see is someone really make them pay for that. And Spain are the type of team that could do that, because they're as clinical as anyone as well when they get into those positions. And because they're so organised and so good defensively, it can be really, really difficult to get any decent rhythm going against them. And I think we see that with even France can do it, And I think Argentina, no one's been able to stop them scoring yet either. That's could be quite key as well. So both teams really strong in a lot of areas. Spain certainly, I think, are the team that you would have as the favourites, simply because of how good their performances have been so far and how consistent they've been, and also who they've beat on the way to the final. I think and how well they play as a team, all those factors, I think, fall into their favour. Let's say Argentina have just got this never say die mentality like we saw yesterday. And I know, of course, we went 1-0 up, and the way we was playing, it was almost like we're more likely to get a second goal, but we sat so deep, invited so much pressure. It's a mixture of England. England, we did mess it up completely. We could have got there. We could have. I think that's what does. So that what would make you worry a bit for Argentina in the final is we should have. I say should have. We could have held on. If we had done things differently, I honestly believe we could have got through. But then, of course, we messed everything up tactically. Terrible. And of course, when the chances come along, they did take them, and the substitutions paid off, and they stepped up in the big moments. You've got to give them credit for that. And they didn't panic either. They didn't panic, and I think that's what's key, is they don't seem to do that. But I do think the first goal in the game could be important. Has it got the potential to go beyond the 90? I think so. Will it be? It depends. It could. You never know. It could be a real sort of classic game, because there's that sort of rivalry as well. I think Argentina really want to beat Spain. I think there's a whole historical factor. I think that Spain is so good at what they do, and I think Argentina never ever give up. Never seem to be beaten. They always seem to find quality that no one thought they had from nowhere, and they always seem to have good options off the bench as well. Obviously, Gonzalez was a massive substitution yesterday. That made such a difference, and then they bring Lautaro Martinez on as well. Defensively, I think they could get at Spain, and I think that's what they will look at. It's going to be close. I do think it's a close game. I think you certainly would be. I think it'd be foolish. It'd be foolish to write off either team at this point from what we've seen from both teams so far. And it's going to be. It will be close on the day. I believe it will be close because it's a World Cup final. It's both teams have shown a lot of quality in different ways to get to this point. But I do think Spain are the slightly better team, and I think if you had to call it, I'm slightly leaning towards Spain. I think, you know, Argentina, it's hard to bet against them because of what we've seen so far. And so I can see why a lot of people would maybe even still side with them. You know, they are just proven winners. They could go back to back with World Cups here, back to back Copa Americas in between. It's a historic run. They're now a historic team, this Argentina team. That said, Spain are looking to sort of do what they did before, where they won the Euros and the World Cup back to back, and obviously went on to win the Euros again, of course. But they won the Euros 2 years ago as well, so they've also know how to win as well. But Argentina is something about them in finals with this particular team that do seem to always know how to go over the line. They get through games they might not even deserve to win either, you know, and never lost a World Cup semi-final when they got to that stage as well. It's quite key as well. Managed to get through it yesterday, of course, as well. As for my prediction, I'm going for 2-1 to Spain. I think they've just got slightly more battle as a team, but really not right in Argentina. I just think Spain, they are so difficult to play against. It's so hard to score against. They keep the ball so well. I just think they're set up so well as a team. I think they're set up quite well for a final, but it's going to be close. It will be close. I can't see it not being a close game just because I think both teams have got really like a lot of standout quality. But and it's of course probably be Messi's last. Well, it will be his last World Cup game, maybe in his last Argentina game as well. So will he show up? We've got one last big show in him. I think yeah, quite possibly. But also Spain are so good as a team. It's a difficult game to call because of all those reasons. But I am leaning towards Spain. So let me know your thoughts on the World Cup final. Which way is it going to go? Spain or Argentina?